Hello. Contending for a belt that cost 50 G's to make, two real-world gangsters raised by the underworld set out to prove who was the baddest of them all. Unfortunately, the bout was cut short due to a doctor's stoppage, leaving the audience to boo. They did not want this bout to end so civilly, especially when Nate Diaz had so much fight left in him. But that was the thing. If this was a park or one of Jorge Masvidal's legendary backyard brawls, these two definitely wouldn't have stopped until it escalated into something much worse. After all, they've lived and seen far worse. These two grew up in a less civil environment. They carry that energy with them. Thus, when they enter the harshest environment permissible in civilized society, even then, the rules might end up keeping them inches away from where their spirits were forged. Nate Diaz was clearly eager, but honestly, with the cut he sustained, I was surprised the bout wasn't ended a round sooner. They respected Nate's decision to go on, to end it the way they did a round later. I believe they were being generous. They wanted the fans to have a good show. Unfortunately, this is not a street fight, and I believe the doctor's stoppage was indeed fair. Everyone's heart sank a little when Nate was still so eager, including me, but the rules exist for a reason. Without them, no game could feasibly exist. It is because of rules we may not only witness a game as ruthless as mixed martial arts live in civilized society, but also they have provided us a time of unprecedented peace. Looking throughout history, the endless conflict humanity has endured, the fact we figured it out a little more each time along the way, it's why our women and children can walk the developed world with relative peace. Thus, I will not change the rules. I must simply accept them for the greater good, even if they don't always make me happy, and just be grateful Jorge Masvidal is the kind of man he is. To give Nate an immediate rematch because he wasn't happy with the outcome, he wanted to finish Nate. He doesn't want to leave any doubt on his status as the baddest. That mentality alone signifies why he deserved the title. But the question now becomes, why did Jorge Masvidal look so dominant, and what caused the cut on Nate? Nate Diaz has always been a slow starter. You could tell he was feeling anxiety before and in the early stages of his bout. That's actually the thing about a lot of high-level athletes. It's not that they feel different emotions from me and you, they simply respond to those emotions differently. Where one shies away, recoils, runs at the glint of fear, anxiety, cortisol, Nate Diaz rises up to the challenge courageously. When he does, he gets more calm in that chaos. He starts having more fun, he starts looking a bit more playful, his style starts to get more fluid. Thus, you start seeing his true self come out. That moment where he starts feeling comfortable is the moment where his brilliant boxing IQ starts showing itself. Understanding this, you start to understand why Nate Diaz is a late starter. Pair that with his less explosive physique, slow twitch build. It's no wonder Nate gets beaten to the punch consistently in early exchanges. He has an inherent speed and power disadvantage compared to most of his opponents. But due to his durability, this actually works to his advantage. If he can eat your punches, the more powerful you are, the more likely you are to slow down because fast twitch burns out faster than slow twitch. It's sprinting versus long distance running. You can cover far more ground jogging, but you'll gas attempting a fraction of that distance sprinting. Punching power is the same, hence why both Nate and Nick have styles that rely more around volume punching, which is why Joe Rogan would say they get you to run with them. The moment you decide to run with them, you're choosing to run a marathon. As each moment passes on that tread, as they get more comfortable and confident, their advantage increases. You see them land more and more and more. This is also core as to why us fans ended up so disappointed. Masvidal naturally looked very dominant. He was destroying Nate in the early rounds, but you started to see him get more comfortable as the bout progressed. Who knows what could have happened in the later rounds? Maybe Masvidal's body shots would have had an impact on Nate's ability to roll with the shots. Who knows? Considering Nate's history of coming back after being dominated in the early rounds, no one can absolutely say what could have happened. Jorge Masvidal knew this. He felt a part of this to be true. Despite being confident he could have gotten the job done regardless. Offering the rematch must have felt very intuitive for him. With that said, let's take a closer glance into the moment that caused the fight ending cut. When Jorge Masvidal is authentically expressing himself, he's actually pretty hilarious inside the arena and out. He rushes in and feints the knee that switched off Ben Askren, which has Nate react. Holding his knee, look at the smile he has on his face. This is the energy he's had the entire bout. Not so much taunting, but more so, he's just so filled with joy for actually having a worthy opponent. It's as if he's truly having fun, messing around because he wants to make the most of this moment. Nate Diaz shows he isn't afraid of anything and points at the ground to indicate he's ready to bang with Jorge. Rushing in and backing against the cage when he throws this right, look at Jorge Masvidal's hand. Like he's just made a touchdown, he's cheering at the fact he's dodged the punch. Truly, if you were to ask who was having more fun at this very moment, you would have to say Jorge Masvidal. I don't know what this is, but it appears to be a taunt of some kind, maybe a gang sign, I don't know. But from here, Jorge Masvidal is a master at rhythm manipulation. When it comes to reading rhythm and manipulating his own rhythm, his ability to do so is at the top. Watch how, as he's backing up from Nate's advance after the kick, he steps back a fraction of the distance which pulls Nate into his reach. This actually threw Nate a bit off guard. Look at how Nate is pawing to trap the hand to find his own reach. Meanwhile, Jorge is already entering on Nate. This was slight, but actually very cunning. That clean entry results in Masvidal pinning Nate against the cage, in an over-under position. Clearly, there's a significant strength advantage on Jorge's side, trying to break Nate off him with his elbow. Watch how, in this moment, he ends up with a collar tie, pulls him into a knee, frames, then enters with an elbow. When it gets to these exchanges, Jorge Masvidal is ferocious. As Mike Tyson's teacher Cus D'Amato would say, he attacks with bad intentions. Look at his face. Straight bad intentions. A right things off forehead with a left following. These punches are all looping. He's investing as much speed and power into his punches as possible. Nonetheless, catching Nate before his signature looping check hook connects. The check grazing past Jorge Masvidal. Nate Diaz is now hunched off center line. Boom. His eyebrow moves directly into Jorge Masvidal's instep. This is what caused the cut. But think about this for a second. Nate took consecutive looping punches, then moved his head into the kick. And look. He's still conscious. How is this possible? Here, you cannot say he ate the force by rolling with it. He made direct contact, moving into the blow. That is just terrifying. It's why Nate Diaz's style of fighting works for him. To be able to take that level of punishment to the head from someone who's known to pack heat in his hands and strikes in general, that's just crazy. With that said, I believe the doctor's stoppage was fair. Nate has had a history of receiving the same kind of cut. He has a lot of scar tissue and that makes him more prone to getting cut the next time around. Nonetheless though, you keep hitting him and hitting him and hitting him and he just doesn't stop. As Jorge had said, you have to end the man in order to finish him because there is no other way. That's absolutely insane. I hope Nate Diaz figures something out about his problems with cuts. Nonetheless though, for sure, I can't wait to tune in for the rematch. What do you guys think about this stoppage? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you like more from me, please subscribe and hit the notifications. Thank you if you did. It truly does help the channel. Thank you. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. It's your karma and until next time, peace.